Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the grand final for the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy September weeklies. It's week number 3, and we've got MarineLord in the south corner of the map in blue, playing as the Abbasid Dynasty, and in the northwest, playing in red, representing Team Liquid, is DeMuslim, playing as the Chinese, the map being Lippany, the first of this best of 5. And the Abbasid Dynasty, a natural choice, one of the two civilizations I like to call the Berry Brothers, the Delhi Sultanate and the Abbasid Dynasty, two of the civilizations that have the bonus of the berry bushes being somewhat enhanced in terms of quantity of food. As you can see, 350 food out of 250. They get an extra 100 food per berry bush, and also the villagers do gather fast from the berries, so you can see the Abbasid Dynasty moving out to those berries as soon as possible. And with the map Lippany, you actually get more berry bushes on the map, so civilizations like the Abbasid Dynasty and the Delhi Sultanate certainly make sense. And with the Chinese for DeMuslim, he is very strong with the Chinese. We shall see how this one pans out. Lippany can often kind of wall up into small choke points, which we'll see actually, because it is very dependent on the spawn. As we do see quite a few woodlines in the middle that do offer some wall ability, but it's not the most closed spawn of Lippany that I've seen, at least. It's relatively open on the west side, actually, to be totally honest, and it'll be interesting to see how DeMuslim plays this one out, because both civilizations do have some flexibility. Both civilizations can have the potential to be aggressive in the feudal age, and both civilizations do also have the potential to be very expansive in the economy, with the Abbasid Dynasty very often opting for a second town centre early on because of the fact that they get the economic wing, which is now being researched to get to the next stage, and then that unlocks fresh foodstuffs, which reduces the cost of those villages by 50%, 2 for the price of 1 for the Abbasid Dynasty. A very nice bonus, with the Chinese being able to get access to the Song Dynasty if he so wishes. And the Song Dynasty, a very nice bit of a boost there to the economy, as you can see there, with the villagers' production time being reduced by 35%. That is quite a significant difference. You know, 2 town centers from the Chinese will be able to outproduce the 2 town centers in terms of villagers, at least for the Abbasid Dynasty. It seems like the Imperial Academy is going to be built here with 3 villages. This is a very nice landmark for the Chinese, recently reworked on the new patch. It means that they can actually produce the Imperial officials, and not only that, they can obviously drop the tax there, generating 100% tax gold revenue from the production buildings, or the drop-off points rather. As we now see a village being put down there for the Chinese, increasing the population by 40, really helps that population space for the Chinese. It's best of 5. Plenty of games are going to be on the way in this set, and I'm certainly looking forward to who will emerge as champion in this grand final, because both players have been playing very, very well recently. Both players obviously qualified for the main event, the Red Bull Wololo Legacy, and both players will be using this as a good training exercise in terms of refining their skills. As we edge closer to the big day, the big tournament, the Red Bull Wololo Legacy in Castle Heidelberg, Germany, as now we do see DeMuslim getting to that next stage with the Imperial Academy. Looks like he's also opting for the Song Dynasty with the Barbican of the Sun. Getting the 2 landmarks that will take him to the feud age will unlock that Song Dynasty. As you can see, he's got about almost 400 food, almost there with the gold as well, and that Song Dynasty will be coming in pretty soon, as we see a archery range going down there from MarineLord, looking to protect himself early on, and also going towards that stone mine to get that second town centre. Interesting choice to actually invest in the archery range to get some military on the field. There's that Barbican of the Sun. I'm going to be protecting that stone mine in a very nice spot, actually. Protecting the stone and the gold. Offers a lot of protection in the front part of this base. See Cannon Archers coming up from MarineLord, wanting to be aggressive in this early phase of the game. Maybe pile on some pressure, maybe try and deny a second town centre expansion, which does appear to be the case here with 5 villages on that stone mine, as the Imperial official now comes out, collecting that tax gold, bringing it back to the Imperial Academy and making his way around the civilization, around the base, to collect that tax. Wheelbarrow is on the way for DeMuslim as well, looking to get those eco upgrades. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a macro approach here for both players. As you can see, 8 villages on stone. I mean, that almost suggests that it might be a 3 town centre play here for MarineLord. We'll have to see. Let's just take a look at his scouting pattern, because does he see much in the way of the stone being collected? I think this is obviously a user, it's a bug. Although he now sees the Barbican. You'll know that the Song Dynasty is coming out, and you'll see the double town centre player as well. So You can see the scouting information that MarineLord has, and that could guide him to get to that third town centre potentially. As you can see, he's staying on the stone. He's already collected 300, so it does seem that way, at least for now. As we send villagers there to get a second town centre on the deer patch. Commonly done for players going for that expansion. Deer obviously harbouring a lot of food. 300 food per deer. Camel Archer does head forward, going to be harassing the villagers on the gold vein. But look at the village acting as a nice safe haven for those villagers to hide back into. And Barbican is actually not protecting that gold from this western side. But the town centre will. And the Chinese villagers do build very fast. So 6 villagers are building that second town centre, keeping the economy nice and condensed compared to the Abbasid dynasty going out further forward. And I have to say, MarineLord has somewhat forced this issue, forced the condensation of the eco. Making it condensed nicely, tightly and packed does mean that the pocket eco approach will be a bit more tricky for DeMuslim. And the Camel Archer getting huge value, denying the food on the berries, and now forces DeMuslim to actually get that stable up. He needs to get some units on the field. That would be a no, there's a drop off on the stone. Going for the gold now. Maybe to get that castle age, but he needs to fight off this Camel Archer, getting huge amounts of value. This one unit, really impressive there for MarineLord, and he's got so much stone here. I mean, he's staying on stone. I mean, it's surely not a 40 on centre play, is it? It could be. It could well be. We shall see. He's done a lot of damage, created a lot of idle time as the villagers are now heading back to that food. They've been off food for quite some time there. And DeMuslim actually not producing villagers. He's not able to. Doesn't have the food to do so, and that was huge there by MarineLord, has to be said. 32 economy for DeMuslim, 33 for MarineLord. Despite the fact that DeMuslim has Song Dynasty with 2 town centres. There's that third town centre coming on the right side there for MarineLord. And has enough stone for a 4th town centre, so might indeed do so, going on the woodland and the berries. Don't forget, it's 2 for the price of 1, so in terms of the villagers, that is, the cost for food, it'll only be producing, or at least spending, the amount that it would be for 2 town centres effectively, but it's got 4 town centres in total. Certainly will be out producing the villagers that DeMuslim is able to produce, and struggling to keep up production. Now the food is coming in, now that the villagers are fully harvesting that sheep. That one Camel Archer got so much value, it's pretty insane actually. This could be an incredible spot for a 3rd town centre for the Chinese if he so wishes. But that would be pretty greedy with the Song Dynasty activated. Another town centre on the woodline and the extra deer pack, so holy smokes, a lot of food will be coming in for MarineLord. Look at the food count, already 600, that's insane. This comes down to the fact that the villages are so cheap for the Abbasid dynasty. May look to maybe transition to gold. Will he play this as a full feudal age? We shall see. Does only have 1 production building, not producing from it just yet. We'll see how he decides to play this one out. Certainly banking up a lot of resources. 43 villages for MarineLord, 42 for DeMuslim. He now starts to get those barracks up and running. Double archery range for DeMuslim as well, so it does look like it's going to be feudal age aggression. For DeMuslim could potentially go for Zhuganoo. Does have 3 villages on that gold, and also the Imperial officials collecting that tax. It is indeed a couple of Zhuganoo will be popping out, getting the Spearman upgrade as well, so pretty heavy feudal age aggression here coming from DeMuslim. But the Abbasid dynasty no strangers to feudal age aggression, as we see 3 stables being built here by MarineLord. Going for some archery ranges as well. So triple stable, double archery range here for MarineLord. Needs to keep this army out though. DeMuslim is starting to maybe mass up those numbers, heading forward with a couple of Zhuganoo and spears, and MarineLord will keep his scout. He'll know that's happening now. He knows what's happening. Going to start to ramp up production, you feel. And that's certainly going to be a lot of production buildings there for MarineLord. We'll be pumping out those units, and he's going to have plenty of food to do so. Getting a blacksmith for the upgrades as well. Another archery range. As you can see, MarineLord really doubling down on the feudal age. And to be honest with you, I'm really enjoying this of Age of Empires 4. Now, really, some of the civilizations have a very extended feudal age, and it's a great joy to watch seeing the army come out on the field very nice and early. And then obviously there is a transition to Castle Age which can come at fantastic timings for different players. As we see villagers go forward here for DeMuslim, going to go for getting that deer on the front patch, which is rather exposed. Be interesting to see if MarineLord decides to pressure that location as time wears on. Only going up to the deer patch now, and obviously the MarineLord has secured his deer pack by that fourth town center. Let's take a look at the villagers. 63 for MarineLord, 59 for DeMuslim, and that lead will be building up. So actually for MarineLord, he won't be too worried about the two town center Sog dynasty. And it'd be interesting to know if actually DeMuslim has scouted out these town centers. It doesn't appear that he has. Going to send some units there now. Is sending a scout and a horseman, so he'll be aware now of the third town center. As you can see, it's a bit of a spectator bug here. He knows about the third, but the interesting thing for MarineLord is that I don't think DeMuslim would have scouted out this fourth town center. There's no real reason to go that way, and this town center kind of obstructs his path somewhat as the scout gets taken down, and that means the vision for DeMuslim will be lacking on this eastern border. He does now look to try and get some palisade walls in a very nice spot, actually. Holy smokes. That is a nice set of walls that DeMuslim has. Could have even walled up to the side there, but actually this is perfect because this is quite close to home. There's no real way for MarineLord to kind of pressure this area easily without having to go all the way around. He's palisading wall this side as well, but the thing for DeMuslim is that he's now being pressured on that deer pact. We talked about this earlier. There is the Barbican of the Sun. The army is there close for DeMuslim, so we'll be pushing some of this back, but the villagers have been kind of idle there even for a second. A couple of deer are half far forward, so won't be able to take the food easily. Camel Archer does go down. This is actually not a great engagement for MarineLord. He's having to be pushed back. The Zhugnyu getting lots of value, and look at this. DeMuslim going to be warding up behind this. I feel like DeMuslim getting the better fight, especially with the spearmen involved, and the archers need to head back because the Zhugnyu are ripping them to pieces. The army heads back to the safety of the base, but DeMuslim, no signs or pressure of just moving back, actually. He's going to continue the fight, and I feel like the MarineLord needs to take out those spearmen because the spearmen are going to unleash havoc on the horsemen if they stay alive, and another batch of horsemen do add to the fight, and this defender's advantage is really helpful here. Actually, DeMuslim might have overextended a little bit. The Zhugnyu getting good value against the horsemen, all things considered. But now that the horsemen are down for DeMuslim, no more meat shield, and you get the feeling MarineLord's going to pressure on here from this position. 22 army for DeMuslim versus 34, and the eco lead really starting to build up there. Holy moly, 16 villages lead there for MarineLord. Not surprising when you factor in their 4 town centers, as DeMuslim is now starting to wall up on the western side of things. Spending all his food, no signs of castle age coming in for DeMuslim. And that's a concern because DeMuslim is playing this as if he's being greedy, but in actual reality, it's actually MarineLord who's got the villager lead, and he's the one who's going to be building up the economy. I don't think DeMuslim saw that third town center. The fourth town center, rather, actually. He saw the third one. So now, MarineLord going to try and burn down these static defenses, working on that gate first, knocking on the door, trying to say hello. Villagers are gathering that deer now quite nicely, being supervised by the Imperial officials. So whilst the villager lead will be in favour of MarineLord, don't forget the Imperial officials certainly do add to the economy for the Chinese. Don't forget though, the Abbasid dynasty do have Golden Age. Shame that we can't check the Golden Age tier, that level for the Abbasid dynasty, whilst the spectator mode. As the horsemen head forward, the Zhugnyu might get some fires off, and they do. The archers heading forward. They need to take out those spears, those archers. If they do, then the fight will be a lot more engaged for here for MarineLord. It'll be a much better fight if we can manage it. Here comes the focused fire. The spears do engage with the horsemen there from MarineLord, which is decent, but the Zhugnyu rip through those. The archers need to take care of those spearmen. Still a lot of spearmen here on the field for DeMuslim. Well, with those spears alive, it's very difficult for MarineLord to pressure, as you can see, bringing the horsemen in and out. There's so many spears there. He does engage slightly, but the spear number's too high for DeMuslim for MarineLord to take this fight, and the Zhugnyu behind getting so much value. DeMuslim's going to be able to hold on quite nicely. The horsemen head forward. They take an engagement on the spears. That was actually a painful fight there. MarineLord lost a lot of HP on the horsemen. The horsemen numbers are starting to dwindle. The spear's out of position just for a second. The horsemen do get microed back there for MarineLord. Now comes the push. Now the spearman numbers are starting to dwindle. DeMuslim needs to add more. The horsemen are going to be taking down that front line. Now the problem for DeMuslim, he doesn't have a meat shield left. With those spears gone, the horsemen for MarineLord will start to attack. And there we are. The horsemen head forward. And the archer's going to be doing quite a bit of damage to the villager account as well if they start to focus fire on those. But they're going to focus on the army first. Reinforcements do come out for DeMuslim. Now the horseman numbers actually dwindling for MarineLord. And DeMuslim now will be able to push forward. And this comes down to the defender's advantage. The defender's advantage really adding to the military numbers quickly there for DeMuslim. We see now another head-on engagement in this choke point here. The horsemen absorbing a lot of the fire for these Zhugnyu. And now the MarineLord is going to be heading towards a stealth forest, building up a large army, and we see either player think about castle age. We see a lot of wood being floated by MarineLord. May need to start transitioning to farms. Let's take a look at that situation actually. Still looks like it's going to be pocket economies being taken here. Berries on the west side. No farming transition for the Chinese either. Relying on the berries. Quite a lot of walking distance there though. Good thing he has wheelbarrow. Now, Marine are going to be starting to knock on this western palisade walls. Let's take a look at the village account. Look at MarineLord. This is still feudal age, guys. I love this kind of match. Start off game number 1 in the grand final. Look at this. Almost population capped. And we're still in feudal age. 124 villages versus 96. And, I mean, with MarineLord being pop capped, he can take really effective fights as we see a weird engagement. The Zhugni's on the top of the hill. Visually stunning. And this is interesting because MarineLord already needs to pressure now that he's population capped. Or maybe even think about getting to the castle age. We'll see what he decides to do. Looks like he's going to try and break in and cause some havoc. Muslim's still quite a way off on that population cap. I think with a market or two, MarineLord might head into the castle age. But we do see DeMuslim investing in that castle age now. I'm sure it's going to be the astronomical clock tower, and that is indeed the case. The castle age will be coming in for DeMuslim soon, but look at the number of villagers being idled there. Holy moly. There's a lot of villagers, 35 of them. MarineLord sending a couple of horsemen there to see if there's any pocket economies being taken. There is the castle age uptime for DeMuslim. Suspect now on the back of that, MarineLord may need to start spending that wood. And he is indeed. He's still got loads in the bank. He's actually got the farming transition up and running now. Doesn't have some of the upgrades, horticulture, lacking the gold to get to the next stage. In fact, has he clicked up? He has indeed, actually. So he has spent quite a bit of resources to get to the next stage. But look at the food count still there. That's the power of the Abbasid dynasty. That's the power of this fully fledged economy. Population capped and heading into the castle age. The Muslim is going to be starting to get those upgrades, and that's a concern. There is a bit of a window of opportunity here. If these become elite Zhugnu, those are going to be powerful. That upgrade is coming in now. It's going to be veteran first, of course. With the wedge rivets coming in, the blacksmith upgrades. Villagers being pulled away from that wood line. Another 40 villagers being idled there. Nice play there by MarineLord. Huge amounts of value. Just a couple of horsemen doing that. Villagers do get put out again. And behind this, look at the food count for MarineLord. Absolutely bonkers. The army heading out for DeMuslim because he's got the veterancy of the Zhugnu. Veterancy to the spearmen coming out soon as well. MarineLord will want those upgrades himself. Not really coming in yet because of course he's not in the castle age just yet. The problem for the Abbasid dynasty in this scenario is that he can't really rush the next stage. He has to wait for the House of Wisdom to do its thing. The Muslim might engage. Look at the food count for MarineLord. He needs production buildings because he's going to be attacked. Oh, look, this is going to be a nice flanking here. The horsemen going to head around the back, but the Zhugnu doing so much damage. There's that age uptick, and now MarineLord needs to hold on. He needs to wait for the upgrades, but we've said it before in the game, and many castle games before, when you age up, that's when you're vulnerable, because the Muslim knows that he's got a window of opportunity here to attack now, before the veterancy upgrades come in for MarineLord. You can see the veterancy for the horseman will be coming in. He needs a market if he hasn't got one. He does have a market. Here come out the rams. This town centre will be at risk here. Quite a few barracks, and will it be man-at-arms in fact? Every mangonels being built on the field. That's actually huge. The mangonels can get some good hits on the Zhugnu. That'll be critical damage being dealt. Horsemen need to get the upgrade though. There is mangonel on the field. A mangonel will be popping out now. To do some damage against the Zhugnu. The horsemen need to be taken care of though. DeMuslim gets that mangonel down. That'll be a problem. Quite a few horsemen to deal with the damage. It's in the choke point, that mangonel. Oh, might get a good fight. Might get a good hit there. The horsemen heading the wrong way. They're heading towards the villagers. That's the wrong side of that mangonel. The mangonel gets a decent hit there. The Muslim has to back off now. And all because of one mangonel. Takes out that town centre, but I mean, population is properly capped, fully capped there for MarineLord. And look at the food count behind it. The archers engage, and they're in the choke point. The horsemen are doing absolutely nothing there. And this is a problem for DeMuslim. He's overextended. The horsemen are veteran now. The horsemen are going to take care of a lot of the Zhugnu. The archers in behind as well with the mangonel. Getting good hits here. A lot of HP lost on the Zhugnu, and this is a big fight MarineLord is taking. It looks like he's going to win this fight, and DeMuslim going to have to head back home with this army, whatever it has left. And in fact, he can't really retreat too well because the horsemen have the movement speed advantage. And he's going to try and head back. That mangonel MVP doing so much damage, holding on so well. And from here, look at the replaceability capability for the Abbasid dynasty. Look at that food count. Look at that wood count. Pretty insane. 190 population still for MarineLord versus 143, and it comes down to the ability to replace the army and to do it super fast. And how going to be seeing knights going to be coming out, lancers for the Chinese being played by the Muslim. That will help with dealing with the archers, but The issue is that the sheer numbers here from MarineLord looking impressive. There is a keep going here on the north here to protect that entry point and that gold vein. That's a nice position. MarineLord will be forced into getting siege now. But he won't mind. Look at the population cap. You just keep flooding units and just relatively favourable trades rather. And means that DeMuslim will need to try and hold on for as long as he can. Trouble for him is he keeps losing units. It's hard for him to replace it. A lot of units going down here though. The Zhugnyu ripping through these archers, I think. And MarineLord lost a lot there. Population not at 200 anymore. And this is actually a really good trade for DeMuslim, all things considered. The Mangonel will start to head forward, but a couple of horsemen for DeMuslim or knights will take care of that Mangonel if they actually come out. There they are. There's one coming out now. Ground man-at-arms being added into the mix for MarineLord. Those are hella tanky against the Zhugnyu. Decent Mangonel shot there, taking a lot of HP. Another Mangonel shot might get off there. No scattered formation for DeMuslim. Does split up the Zhugnyu though into different armies. That's a nice touch there. Nesta Bees coming out as well, so the archers or MarineLord will be under attack from the Nesta Bees. That's an issue. A couple of archers do go down there. Nesta Bees getting huge amounts of damage there. MarineLord losing a lot there in terms of inventory. Look at the food count, still so high. And all things considered, overall okay-ish for MarineLord, because he's heading up to the Imperial Age. A Wololo going off, that keep drop coming out for the Chinese. The Chinese do get the villages out and they head into that keep, and that was huge just in time. And MarineLord will lose that relic as well, or at least lose the monk carrying it. Now the horsemen have to try and head through that keep, and that's a strong position for DeMuslim. That actually is a fantastic keep. It buys him so much time, and it forces MarineLord now to head back. He needs to deal with that, but with the Imperial Age in, a couple of siege workshops might mean some bombards might be coming out, and that will be huge. Let's take out the relic count. It's actually 2 in from MarineLord. This has been a frantic game so far. Not entirely sure if DeMuslim has a monastery. I have to take a look at that, as a couple of relics are being brought back. No, just the one relic being brought back. I'm not sure if he has another monastery at all. In any case, it's been so frantic. You can kind of forgive the players not going for monasteries and relics. It's been absolutely fast-paced. The villagers on the front line there for DeMuslim, getting stone, maybe for another keep drop. We see DeMuslim do this a lot with the Chinese. Horsemen are raiding quite nicely, creating a lot of idle economy. That is huge value there for MarineLord. 19 villages idle. Population still looking very healthy for MarineLord. Looking to get that sacred site on the right side. Do we see any bombards? That's the question. Siege workshop going there on the right side. Has 2. Is getting some trebuchets actually. As we see a bit of an engagement. Nesta Bees with the Zhugnyu in front and a couple of palace guards and spears. Camel archers and horsemen do have to head back. Can't really take that fight from MarineLord. But the key difference in the tech advantage might start to come in soon, because MarineLord is in the Imperial Age. Let's take a look at what he's getting. He's getting biology, committing to the cavalry, getting greased axles, improved processing, getting villagers to drop off a lot more food and gold and wood and everything. 8% increase there. Lumber preservation coming in as well. Getting the eco upgrades. That trebuchet will be looking to take down that keep, but look at this. DeMuslim saving up for another keep as well. It'll be very hard to deny that if he doesn't have the military in the right place. Oh, horsemen and a couple of camel archers wrap around that Nesta Bees, takes out the Nesta Bees in the stealth forest. Stone walls coming out for DeMuslim. DeMuslim looking to make this a late game affair. Does have enough stone for another keep, or maybe he's just repairing actually. I know there was a lot of stone being used as actually for this wall here, this stone wall. 2 trebuchets will take this keep down. DeMuslim bought himself a lot of time though. Camel archers head to raid that gold vein. A lot of horsemen being used. Don't forget, these are now elite horsemen, so pretty tanky units here. Maybe looking to take out the villagers. There are spearmen involved as well. That's a concern. There are camel archers in behind, but they're heading directly underneath that keep. MarineLord doesn't mind. He's almost population capped still, and Boiling Wall will be looking to be coming in from that keep. Doesn't have it quite yet. A lot of villages being lost here for DeMuslim. That's a concern. Trying to keep hold of this gold vein. DeMuslim has a gold in abundance. The army will go down there for MarineLord, but guess what? He's producing them again. And with that keep now gone down, means that an outpost will be going out for MarineLord, picking up that relic, and now is going to stage another attack. Stone being taken by DeMuslim. He definitely loves his keep drops. A nice outpost there, fortified, gives him a bit of time there, MarineLord, to recover and group up his army. As the trebuchets are likely to move forward, and that is indeed the case. See 2 mangonels as well, so it's going to be hard to push here for DeMuslim, stuck in the castle age at this point. He has no real way of getting to the Imperial Age. Doesn't have the resources. If he stops producing military, he will die. There's elite horseman, elite camel archer, the Abbasid dynasty eco really paying dividends here, making a huge difference, getting the extra age tech up. Look at the gold he has as well, decent amount of gold there, 3,000. DeMuslim getting so much gold on the map. He's saving it for a rainy day. Just needs food here really. Farming transition, not as big as he would have wanted. Does have a decent number, 37, but it just won't be enough at this stage of the game. As the horsemen do head in towards that food count as well, and he heads into those farms again. That's going to be an issue for DeMuslim. Won't be able to afford that Imperial Age anytime soon, that's for sure. Might not even be able to afford any army, as these villages will be starting to go down. Trebuchets, are they starting to unfold? They are indeed. Two of them on that forward keep, and being going to be protected by the couple of man-at-arms. Now, this heavy stone investment on the west side, not really offering them that much protection, because it's this east side that he's being attacked from. Center Sacred Site is being taken. Wololo on the west side, looking to get the villagers. Might get a couple of them. Does get quite a few of them in the end. Holy smokes, MarineLord sniping some of those villagers. Population cap there now is looking good for MarineLord. Couple of spearmen coming out though. Going to be looking to take those trebuchets. Do head back. Man-at-arms going to take the fight. These are elite man-at-arms as well, and everything is elite here for MarineLord. One trebuchet might go down. Let's unpack. Bit of a weird pathing there. Horsemen heading on the east side of that trebuchet. One trebuchet might... yeah, probably will be losing two trebuchets here. Pretty cheaply there from MarineLord, but should be able to afford more. Look at the food... sorry, the wood and the gold. That's what you would need for trebuchets. You might need to invest in some bombards, maybe. Been surprised not to see them, and that is indeed the case. Two bombards are queued up. He doesn't have the population space. He just needs a raid. He's got some population space. He's going to be heading forward with his army now. 17 man-at-arms. They're going to look to try and raid that wood line underneath the keep. He won't mind at all. 6 horsemen join the fight as well. Boiling oil coming out of the keep. You can see the animation. Wood is an issue. DeMuslim to be taking the wood in that position is a little bit awkward. We're running out of safe wood here, and that's a big issue. Man-at-arms heading to try and take down those Jugnu's, and the issue really is the fact that these are elite man-at-arms. This is Imperial Age units versus Castle Age units at this point, with the bombards heading forward now, going to be taking down that keep, and that's really the last major static defense that DeMuslim has, and you just get the feeling that DeMuslim will need to tap out because that keep will be going down there, and then there's nothing that will be standing in MarineLord's way, especially with the elite upgrades for these units. Villagers pop out, going to be trying to repair that keep, but I mean, he's not going to repair for too long. It's going to be dwindling on those stone reserves, especially with the villagers going down now. The keep will go down, and DeMuslim is going to be struggling to hold on here with the man-at-arms on the front line, elite man-at-arms from MarineLord. There is a hero nest to be trying its best to do as much damage as it can do. The villagers here are going to be dying as well, and the population completely capped for MarineLord. He's sitting at 130 for DeMuslim. He's really struggling on the back foot now. Has a lot of gold, but not a lot of anything else. Insidia arrows are there for the elite. These elite camel archers, they are indeed. And MarineLord's macro has been on point here today with 4 town centers, and there it is. GG gets called. DeMuslim taps out. Game number 1. MarineLord with the dominant display with the Abbasid dynasty on Lippany. A fantastic pick of civilization. It suits the map and it suits MarineLord's style of play. And well, this matchup suited him for sure, because he takes game number 1, and we're going to head into game number 2 in this best of 5. And DeMuslim, I'm sure, will be looking for a response. We are back, and with game number 1 going in favour of MarineLord, DeMuslim will want a response on Frisian Marshes, with MarineLord playing on the east side of the map in blue as the French. We know how good MarineLord is with the French, but DeMuslim picking the Abbasid dynasty in many ways considered one of the counter civs for the French. Playing in red, DeMuslim in the south corner of the map being Frisian Marshes. This could be a tricky matchup, because on Frisian Marshes, of course, you have the faster gathering resources from the shore fish, and I've seen MarineLord play French a lot on Frisian Marshes, and he does have a very expansive nature on this map. One thing with the French town centres is they run faster than the other town centres. They produce villagers at a quicker rate, and that sometimes can be a bit of a problem for them on a lot of other maps. Keeping up with the food demands for the French can be a bit of a struggle if you're being very expansive. But the one thing about this map is the shore fish. This really helps the French. If you can get those town centres on the shore fish, you can really get the food income nice and quickly to support those town centres, and the villager count can really escalate very quickly. And if you compare that to the Abbasid dynasty get fresh foodstuffs, a technology from the House of Wisdom with the economic wing, reducing the cost of the villagers by 50%. But the key issue is that DeMuslim's town centre expansion for the Abbasid dynasty will be limited in terms of the comparative speed of villager production compared to the French. So 2 town centres for the Abbasid dynasty will still be outproduced for the 2 town centres for the French. The issue for the French is that, of course, it takes more food to produce them because they don't have the half price associated with them. But when you couple in the fact that the French may be taking the shorefish, that bit of differential, that bit of saving on the villages is actually less apparent because, of course, of the fast nature of the gathering speed. If you've got a slow resource of food to gather, that impact is a lot bigger. And I've seen MarineLord play Frisian Marshes. I've seen him play very expansive with the French and really get away with it because, first of all, the French town centers work faster. He ramps up the villager production, but he doesn't suffer for food, and it's because of these shorefish. So I'd be really interested to see this matchup. French versus the Abbasid dynasty. Today on Frisian Marshes, with DeMuslim actually needing to get a win here. He won't want to fall back 2-0 in a best of 5, because then he would need a reverse sweep. And that is not easy to do against someone of the skill levels of MarineLord. Double scout coming out from MarineLord as well. Looking to pick up as many sheep as possible. Has a lot there. 9 of them, but there are typically a lot of sheep on Frisian Marshes. I suspect that DeMuslim probably only went for 1 scout, and that is indeed the case. And does have a decent number of sheep, 11 actually, to be fair, considering he only has 1 scout. We'll see how he decides to play this one out, whether he looks to get a second town centre or how he decides to do things. He is now getting up to the next stage with the economic wing, but of course the School of Cavalry is going to be built now by MarineLord. Heading there with 4 villagers, looking to get some early knights out, I suspect. Gold vein actually relatively secure and safe for MarineLord. Cannot say the same for DeMuslim. Of course, with an extended feudal age expected from both civilizations, gold is not necessarily a huge problem. Still a bit of a concern, especially because a stone pile is on the front lines as well, and if an early knight comes out to harass that without static defenses or some sort of defense being put out by DeMuslim, that could indeed become a big problem. Especially because DeMuslim's going to struggle to push the villagers off of gold. Does have a scout there harassing, but a real quick way to get there. And a mill coming out from MarineLord suggests that wheelbarrow might be coming in pretty soon. It's interesting because looks like DeMuslim is going to that stone mine a little bit quicker than you often see the Abbasid dynasty doing so, and I suspect it's because he wants that second town at a quick time. And the interesting thing is that DeMuslim doesn't actually have enough gold for the fresh foodstuffs upgrade. I don't know if that's an oversight there. It could well be. Maybe he's trying to focus on getting the second town center up and running quick time. He probably wants the second town center on this position, but the trouble for him is the 2 scouts from MarineLord. We see MarineLord do this a lot. Just looking to harass those villagers on the front there and limit the amount of stone that he's able to gather. Does have 150. Needs the 300. He's committed now. Can't really afford not to get the 300 stone. As the School of Cavalry is now up and running just about in 3, 2, 1. And it is there. It's going to take 30 seconds or so for the Royal Knight to pop out there. That 30 seconds should be enough for the stone to be accumulated. And now DeMuslim heading towards the gold. Looks like the builder's a little bit wonky there for DeMuslim, but possibly done purposefully. Doesn't have the fresh foodstuffs coming in instantaneously as he gets to the next stage, and he's just going all the way wrong round, way off that stone mine. Knight will be popping out very soon, and DeMuslim just going to squeeze out that 300 stone, you feel. Has clicked that fresh foodstuffs, but for this, a lot of weak villages here. There's the stone, has the wood as well. Where are the villagers going to go for that second town centre? Isn't the gold vein. Villagers will be brought towards this side of that town centre. Will be protected by the town centre, the initial town centre, but Knight should be heading forward already. Is going through the stealth forest, and Muslim is aware of it. Still a couple of villagers on gold though. They may be sniped. Bit of an awkward start there for DeMuslim. I'd expect when you're up against the French. French can be very aggressive and be a bit annoying like this. The Knight will get the charge attack. 1 villager will going down at least. Maybe even a second. There are so many weak villagers here. I suspect the value will be coming out here from MarineLord. There it is. Another villager goes down. And the town centre is kind of denied for quite some time. Look at the arrow fires. Not really affecting the Knight all that much. Probably going to lose another villager because of the weakness of the villagers there. I think it's going to be a 3rd villager for DeMuslim. And that is a bad way to start. Does lose a 3rd one. Might lose a 4th as well. This is a terrible start for DeMuslim. Charge attack comes off and looks like he's going to head back here. And DeMuslim taps out. Wow, that was quick. 6 or 7 minutes into the game, DeMuslim calls it on this second game on Frisian Marshes. I think is aware that he just lost too many villagers, and wow, that was not the response that DeMuslim would have wanted. MarineLord heads into game number 3 with a 2-game advantage. 2-0 to MarineLord so far. Now, DeMuslim really does need a response in game number 3. Alrighty, now with game number 3 on Woodwall. Should be an interesting matchup, but DeMuslim definitely needs a win out of this one. The colours have swapped, I'm afraid. It's going to be DeMuslim playing in blue as the Holy Roman Empire, with MarineLord playing in red now as the Chinese on the opposite side of this wood wall. If you haven't seen this map before, it's certainly an interesting one. It's not the one that's standard on the ladder, of course, and it's a relatively new one, with, of course, 2 cliffs on either side of this wood patch in the middle, which is essentially the wood wall itself, hence the name. There are 2 passageways on either side of the cliffs, but there can be a sneaky third one through this particular wood wall. We often see players chop through, and will that be the case in this particular matchup with the Chinese versus Holy Roman Empire? This could be a long one, I'm afraid. Both civilizations do thrive in the late game, especially with the Chinese getting the fantastic economy that they can get with the MarineLord's civilization today being played. The Holy Roman Empire, though, are no slouches, especially if they can get hold of those relics. That can play a big role as the game wears on, and the prelate inspiring these villagers by 40%, increasing the gather speed by 40%. Incredibly strong opening as the bonus for the economy here for the Holy Roman Empire. And let's take a look at the relic spawn, because that can be quite important and critical. Has to say that, has to be said, this relic is really favouring the Chinese being played by MarineLord. This one is relatively evenly spread, and so are the other 3. This one is somewhat, I guess, in DeMuslim's range compared to MarineLord's. So relatively even as spawns happen for relics, and that could be a big part of this game, because we may in this particular matchup, in this particular map, we probably expect to see a fast castle coming out for the Holy Roman Empire. It's a bit difficult to do early pressure. We shall see if the Chinese, played by MarineLord, can do some early feudal age pressure or not. It's a long way to travel to your opponent, though. You have to go all the way across the cliffs and then back around again to your opponent, and it's a long way to travel. Maybe horsemen could do it, but we shall see. The Arkan Chapel going in a awkward spot. I mean, it's right on the wood. It's going to be nicely supervising, and the Predator will be really enhancing the wood being brought up there. But surprised not to see the Arkan Chapel in that location there. Maybe it might be the case that DeMuslim is looking to be aggressive. We'll be having access to the stone, though. That could be key. Maybe it's like DeMuslim trying to think about an expansion early on as well. We shall see. Of course, the Imperial official supervising that mill, as you'd expect here. So I think that food and gold income coming in quite nicely for MarineLord now, looking to get that age up. Let's just see what it does decide to do. It does decide to go for the Imperial Academy. It's quite likely that MarineLord would go for a Song Dynasty behind this, so we'll delay his early aggression capabilities even further. As we do see the Prelate now looking to garrison aside the Arkan Chapel. Does look like the Muslims going quite heavy on stone, looking to get that second town centre up and running quick time. So it won't be a naked fast castle. We'll be looking to get some expansions going. And that will be able to match the Song Dynasty that's usually coming out for the Chinese quite nice and early. Not sure if MarineLord has scouted this or not. No, he hasn't. Oh, we might be looking to scout it now, though. Looking to see if the villagers going to that central wood wall, and then you'll see the Arkan Chapel placement. You'll see the stone there for MarineLord. You'll see that now. And he'll probably react to that. Looking to get a village. Maybe looking to get a Song Dynasty himself after this, but it's going to be lacking the food for now. There is that feudal age, though, for the Chinese. 4 minutes 20 seconds. You can just really see how fast that age up is for the Holy Roman Empire, courtesy of the Prelate starting off there with a 40% buff, and the second town centre is going to be coming in very fast. Holy smokes, take a look at this build. 300 stone almost in the bank. And the wood is going to be almost in the bank as well. A little bit nutty there. I hear the chat messages going across to the 2 players, but unfortunately we don't have in-game spectating of the chat, I'm afraid. I wish we did. Penny for their thoughts. And looks like DeMuslim is even opting for more villages on stone. Maybe a 3rd town centre. Surely not. Quite possible here. To boom heavy here. Quite a decent number of sheep as well. Looking to get wheelbarrow as well from the mill. Don't know if he just overshot there with the stone. It might be the case he's got 100 stone still left. Don't think it was plan to get a third town centre, but the village is now going to get that second town centre up and running. Now, will villagers be pulled for a Barbican? 3 villages are being pulled here on the west side. Maybe looking to get a Barbican position here in front of that relic. That would actually be a very nice spot there. Keeping the scout active. That'll actually help try and protect those relics that he will want to do facing up against the Holy Roman Empire. There's a second town centre though running soon. Up and running now. The village elite will start to be counting up for DeMuslim, that's for sure. We do see the Barbican there in that position. 3 villagers building that. Take some time. Is on stone himself, MarineLord. So we'll be looking to get a second town centre himself. Sending an imperial official to supervise that as well. Or is it collecting tax? It will be supervising. Does have quite a decent amount of wood in the bank. So looking to get that second town centre Song Dynasty up and running now. And it does look like a third town centre actually for DeMuslim. Sending the villagers back to that stone. And MarineLord will be aware of that. Going to be a bit of a boom fest here on Woodwall. Kind of expected. Almost there with a stone count. 9 villages there. Be interesting to see where he places that town centre. Maybe here on the wood and the berries. We shall see. Does he decide to go for a boar position? Actually, do we have boar on this map? It doesn't actually appear we have boars on this map. If I'm not mistaken, I don't see it on the minimap. But that's an interesting detail of this map, Woodwall. There are no boars. Tell you what there are though. Lots of berry bushes. There's 2 berry bushes on either side of the cliffs there. At least there is on the left. Not so sure about the right. Only 1 there on the right. Barbican is now up and running. Where will that third town centre go for DeMuslim? We'll go on the back deer patch there, possibly. Nope, he's going on the west side of the wood wall, so relatively far forward-reaching economy. That's actually rather surprising, because if MarineLord decides to pressure this area, the 2 town centres will be the first things to go, but at the same time, this does offer static defences for Muslim. Villager does come out on the right, maybe to get an outpost on the relic. That is indeed the case. Let's protect those relic positions. But let's take a look at the village count now with the third town centre up and running. 36 to 32. Second town centre is going on the west side position on the berries. Going to be walling up this west side as well. So really securing a lot of the relics by doing this if you can. 1 relic there, 2 relics, going an outpost on the right, 3rd relic. The villagers are being attacked there by scouts. Scouts should be able to take 1 villager there, but it's a price that MarineLord will be happy to pay. Not so much happy to pay, but he's been willing to pay rather. If you get an outpost there in a nice position, gives them a lot of vision. 9 this relic as well, 3rd relic, that would be pretty important. I mean, that's actually all the relics being denied, I think, anyway. Yeah, it is indeed. This is a nice place here to put the second town centre, because it protects this relic as well, and I have an issue for that for DeMuslim. By going for a slower uptime, going for a bit more of a boom approach, is kind of will go in the relic boost that the Holy Roman Empire can get. It's not necessarily a problem. It's something to consider. Of course, the economy will be buzzing without the relics anyway because of the villager count. 3 town centres will be faster than the 2 town centre Song Dynasty. Not by a lot though. See a farming transition coming out now for DeMuslim. Getting one hell of a Arca Chapel there, isn't it? Food coming in fast, wood coming in fast. Let's take a look at the resources, because it's really piling up there for DeMuslim. It's going to be in his way to Castle Age soon, and MarineLord absolutely nowhere near. Lacking the food, and food count going to be skyrocketing for DeMuslim with this farming transition underneath the influence of the Arca Chapel. Slowly transitioning those villagers off of the sheep. Now don't forget, all these villagers are boosted by 40%. That's quite a ridiculous amount when you think about it. The walls are going up from MarineLord, getting some static defences up and running. But DeMuslim going to be heading towards berries now, really itching towards that Castle Age himself with a huge economy behind this. Actually looking very promising for DeMuslim in game number 3. Lost the second game very quickly. Lost the first game, which was actually a fantastically enjoyable game to watch. Double blacksmith for the win here for DeMuslim. Will he be going for the Burger Palace to get to the next stage? Because we'll know that a lot of the relics aren't really contestable at this stage, and we shall see what he decides to go up with, what landmark, and it will be the Burger Palace, and this is a concern for MarineLord because he is not set up to deal with this at all. MarineLord doesn't have this set up for sure. He needs Castle Age, really. Trouble with the man-at-arms for the Holy Roman Empire and the Castle Age, they're very difficult to deal with. Especially without crossbows. Unless you're the Abbasid dynasty, you can kind of manage with camel archers if you have a large mass of them. Especially with the movement speed that they have. But the Burger Palace here could be a clutch play here for DeMuslim. And you know, palisades don't hold up that well to the torch damage for these man-at-arms that are going to pop out very soon. The wood economy is looking strong. It's actually chopping through, and look at this. MarineLord having to get the palisade walls in the middle. This is a direct route here for DeMuslim. He's going to flood his opponent with man-at-arms. They're heading right in. Wood count looking strong here for DeMuslim. Going to be able to transition to some more farms. Effectively dropping 5 barracks instantaneously in the age up. Getting marching drills as well as the blacksmith upgrades. Getting iron undermesh. This man-at-arms will be pretty tanky. And take and absorb a lot of arrow fire, which is kind of the best bet for MarineLord at this stage. Going up to the Castle Age himself though with the clock tower. Now the villagers do build faster than the Chinese, but the question is, will he have the economy behind it to really produce a lot of units? As we do start to get some outposts being built by MarineLord, needs those static defenses up, needs hand cannon replacements though. Man-at-arms start to drill in though. Doesn't really have the economy DeMuslim to support the Burger Palace just yet, but it is only a matter of time because he's spending absolutely everything he's got. Does have a few villagers on stone though, curiously enough. It'd be interesting if you could get a prelate there on that gold to supervise. It would really help his cause. Quite a few man-at-arms. Villagers here repairing. There are hand cannon placements coming in soon, but villagers are going down to the man-at-arms fighting through the walls. Quite a sizable number of man-at-arms here, 10 of them. More villagers being sent by MarineLord, and the problem is that they're actually getting attacked through the wall. Now, DeMuslim's going to breach those gates, and that's a concern because the outposts will be heading through or burning down next. These guys only have 750 HP now. They used to have 1,000. In fact, the man-at-arms aren't even going to care about that. They're going to go straight forward, and if we can disrupt the gold income from MarineLord, then the crossbows will be out of the picture. Without crossbows, there won't be a good counter here. Quite a few crossbows have already been produced, but not enough here. With marching drills there for DeMuslim, he'll be able to chase those down. That's exactly what he does, and he continues the production. He's just about managing to produce 41 villagers on food. He's going to go for a keep drop. DeMuslim, he loves his keeps, and it looks like he's going to get another one here today, in this map at least. And this is the gold we're talking about. This is what's being supervised and being under attack now, and he's got quite a decent amount of gold in the bank. He's done this preemptively maybe because he suspects that's what's going to be pressurized first. The villagers get pulled away from that. Let's take a look at the village count. 84 for DeMuslim, 79 for MarineLord. Villagers being sacrificed. They're going to try and fight the man-at-arms, but there are a couple of crossbows in behind, but man-at-arms going to try and chase those down, and this is not a favourable fight for MarineLord. He's just going to fight it off and see what he can get. I'm sure he's got textiles, right? He does indeed, and that's a bit mandatory at this point because the man-at-arms are still popping forward, and 600 stone in the bank, needs a bit more and can afford to keep. Mangonel coming out there for DeMuslim as well. Again, villagers heading towards that gold vein. DeMuslim is looking to get the second, or the fitted leatherwork upgrade. Does have the second armor upgrade for the ranged units as well, so we'll tank a little bit better, but the crossbows are the natural counter. Will we see a horseman switch? That is the question. I mean, the thing is, you can't just switch the lance connector possibly here for DeMuslim. If he can get up and close and personal, we're causing a lot of damage. The Mangonel will be taking down that outpost, and crossbows looking to try and kite these man-at-arms if they can. Look at the damage being done. That's quite a lot, quite extensive. Mangonel's heading forward, and that will offer some space for DeMuslim to push it into. Still stuck at 600 gold, 600 wood, stone rather. That time lucky with the resource that I was looking for. Mangonel does get deployed, and it just means that MarineLord will be a little bit tentative, a little bit cautious about heading forward. Will we see Lance Connector? Yeah, we do. We see the Lance Connectors coming out, and that's what we expected to see from the Burger Palace. And the Lance Connector can get up and close and personal. They'll do a lot of damage. Not to mention the Mangonel has the potential to do a lot of damage as well. The Muslim struggling in the gold, needs a hard transition to the gold vein now. Where has he gone for that? One on the eastern side. That's a nice double patch of gold there. 12,000 gold there to be had. The man-at-arms going to head in. That's a lot of economy being idled there. Crossbow's not in position. Oh my god, that's a lot of villages that could be slain here. I think there's a couple of lands connected in there as well, heading in, doing the area effect damage. There's a lot of villages that might go down. They do have to head back. Only one or two though actually in the end because of the crossbows. There's the monastery. Maybe looking to get some of those relics there, MarineLord. Heading towards the stealth forest, DeMuslim. Want to try and ambush those units if you can. It's actually quite smart because the range of the field of vision for MarineLord would be pretty limited. You'd head back and try and fight. There's the keep drop here, pulling the army. That's so smart there for DeMuslim. He's pulled the crossbows there on the west side, giving him the room and the space to build up the keep in the front position. Only Springle there, no military there for MarineLord, and it will take time for those units to come back. And the keep drop is now in place, and that gives him a position to attack from. Can just camp out the siege there in that position. A couple of trebuchets will be very helpful. Man-at-arms going to be heading in towards that wood line. That wood line is going to be denied for quite a significant period of time, and crossbow is constantly playing catch up here. Springled and Lester Bees are out from the astronomical clock tower. Man-at-arms going to be trapped in though somewhat, so not a bad play here for MarineLord in some ways. As they've been able to kind of get a good amount of damage to these man-at-arms. Trying to get some value here, but Lester Bees gets a lot of damage on the lance connector. All in all, not too terrible, but a couple of villages will be going down here. The disruption to the economy more than anything. Keep going to be getting boiling oil. Oh, villagers on the wood line. Lance connector does go down, but a couple of villagers, one or two. And it just buys DeMuslim more time though. And it gets him the villager lead 112 versus 94 with the forward siege workshop going on stone again with forward villagers suspecting another keep drop coming out. There is a trebuchet though from the astronomical clock tower for MarineLord, queuing up a second as well. And I'm not sure if it's allowed in the game, but if DeMuslim does get another town centre, could actually use emergency repairs. When I say in the game, I mean the tournament rules for the road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy. I'm not entirely sure if it's allowed to do that. Villagers on that food, they're going to be slain. One goes down, but Textile's actually really helping them out. Now Skeletor will be doing better. 3 man-at-arms continuing the chase. A couple of man-at-arms are going to be taken down by the crossbows. Going to come down to a siege push, you feel. The good thing for the Chinese is they do have better quality siege. There's that town centre going to be coming out for the emergency repairs. And that's going to be expanded on the works, buys DeMuslim even more time. There it is, there's the emergency repairs. It's a pretty broken technology if you ask me for the Holy Roman Empire. Well, these smokes keep coming up on the right side, palace guards come through, looking to get some damage. The villagers will build a bit, villagers will be lost here. Muslim does have textiles though. Saying that, does have 4 town centres now as well, so we'll be able to produce those villagers quick time if you so wishes, as trebuchets do come out for DeMuslim now. The defensive keep coming up for MarineLord. Certainly a siege warfare coming out, and do we see some relics being brought in for the Chinese? Just the one so far, second one coming in as well. That's something that MarineLord hasn't been able to pick up on. 19 minutes into the game, has got a lot to deal with though, so can't really blame him for that. Let's have a decent number of Nestor Bees and crossbows to defend. Oh, we might lose the keep here. DeMuslim might having an oversight there. 170, 80. Oh, it does go down. Holy smokes, and wasn't able to keep that alive. And that's a little bit sloppy there by DeMuslim in some ways. I mean, comparing to his high quality type of gameplay and the standards we expect from a player of DeMuslim's caliber. Now the siege really starting to build up here. 3 trebuchets on the field. Losing that keep was pretty big in the end. A couple of outposts might come up. Will we see the Imperial Age coming out for DeMuslim? Could afford it very soon, and might be able to get bombarded in placements in the outposts, and that would be a bit of a travesty there from MarineLord. Be very hard to push. Emergency repairs coming forward for that town centre. I mean, if the town centre was taken apart by the trebuchets anyway, then the emergency repairs wouldn't have worked on the keep. But it does again buy him some time here, DeMuslim. Will we see a transition to stable units? Horsemen could be the counter to the crossbows and the siege, actually. A lot of the economy on the front line, so if DeMuslim loses his position, a lot of economy will be at a kind of direct vulnerability as the Mangonel does head forward. There are a couple of Nesta Bees in the Springle. Mangonel goes down. It's not what DeMuslim would have wanted. Does have an age up possibility here. Will he go up with the Palace of Swabia? I mean, he's kind of population capped, so there's kind of really no need for the Palace of Swabia at this stage. It's just to see what landmark he does decide to go for. Going for the stables at the back, so that is the stable transition we talked about. Going full horseman might actually win the game for him here, and I suspect that's what we will see. DeMuslim actually not opting for the Imperial Age just yet. He could even think about going knights. That could be an option. We shall see what he decides to do with this. It's certainly a hidden transition. It will be the Aylesback Palace as we expect. Acts as a keep. 50% extra health. All buildings with influence also take 33% less damage. That's a nice position there for the Aylesback Palace as well. We'll slow the push for MarineLord, and this allows the transition to come out for DeMuslim rather. Going to be getting the horseman upgrades. This is a nice play here. I'm suspecting going to be having elite horsemen as well. And I think DeMuslim's going to try and overwhelm his opponent. Looks like MarineLord is opting for that farming transition with granaries now. Could potentially be thinking about going to the Imperial Age himself. He's not too far off there. Don't forget the Chinese can build incredibly fast those landmarks. Here come the horsemen. Maybe popping out. With the veterancy coming in, maybe the elite upgrade will be coming out as well. Looks like MarineLord going to be walling up as well, looking to try and drag the game on a bit longer. Capturing the sacred site there, DeMuslim. It's getting university, likely to get the biology upgrade for these horsemen. Veterancy comes in. Always can get a culverin or two as well. Suspect is going to be getting the elite upgrade very soon. There it is, indeed the case. Oh, gets another keep in this position. Actually, very nice because it protects the gold, and that's a bit of an oversight there for MarineLord in some ways. He's now starting to push that position though, with 2 trebuchets. With 16 villagers there, I think DeMuslim's going to try and gather as much gold as he can in case he needs it as the game goes on. Of course, he's actually committing to the horsemen, so he won't need it for now. We go for elite man-at-arms. So elite man-at-arms on horsemen is the play here. Almost population capped. So is the Chinese MarineLord. Or MarineLord playing as a Chinese. Double university for the upgrades coming faster. Then stables. DeMuslim spending everything he's got. MarineLord's still in the castle age, surprisingly enough. And DeMuslim will have actually a bit of a window of attack here. Has to pull those villagers back to the safety of the keep, looking to try and get that that relic. I'm not sure if, I think it might manage it actually. No, he won't. Just close. He takes the outpost out though at least. Struggling on wood of all things. Look at the upgrades he's getting. He's getting elite army tactics as well, increasing the health of all melee infantry. The problem here for MarineLord is really the fact that his opponent will be having Imperial Age units heading in his base very soon. Will we look to get that Great Wall Gatehouse though? That'll offer a bit of protection for the Chinese. They're being played by MarineLord. As the army does now start to head forward, DeMuslim. This is the window of opportunity. With MarineLord heading to that Imperial Age, DeMuslim will sense blood. He will smell it in the waters. He will know that this is his opportunity. But he's going to run straight into that Great Wall Gatehouse. May have to find another angle of attack. Needs a way to deal with that. He's going to need siege. Has 2 culverins. Getting another siege workshop, I believe, on the front lines. That is indeed the case. He needs to deal with this Great Wall Gatehouse. That's actually a very fantastic position that MarineLord's put that in. Contesting the wood here. And MarineLord will have access to this gold again. Picking up the relic now. I think he will have all the relics. He's got 3 relics in this monastery. He's getting stone walls on the west side as well. I suspect he's got a monastery here as well on the back, possibly. Let's just take a look. Does have one. Gonna get all 5 relics, so that's not a bad position for MarineLord, all things considered. This could go either way. I mean, MarineLord is now in the Imperial Age. DeMuslim kind of missing his timing on the attack. Heading towards the west instead. We'll be taking down that Barbican of the Sun, and the stone walls are up. Almost up. They will be up by the time they break through the palisades, I suspect. Stonewall's looking to be put down for MarineLord as well. I feel like if you're MarineLord, he's comfortable in this game. He feels like if you can just hold on for as long as he can, it does have 5 relics. And that will buy him a lot of, well, it gives him a lot of passive gold, and he's got access to this gold as well, and DeMuslim will be running out of gold very soon. In fact, I think that's it. No, he does have 1 gold vein here, but that's going to be running out very soon, and certainly concern for DeMuslim, that's for sure. Because MarineLord at that point will have access to all the gold on the map that's left, and also the 5 relics. Oh, outpost going there on the woodline being... Oh, hello. Bit of a proxy base coming out here for MarineLord. A couple of man-at-arms going to be disrupting the eco. Oh, hello. Villagers coming out to try and keep that open. Looks like DeMuslim is going to focus on the right side now. The stone walls won't go up. There's such a lot of wasted stone there for MarineLord, all things considered. Yep, DeMuslim wants this gold and he wants it bad. He needs it bad as well. Here come the crossbows and STBs there and the springalds. Look at this though. DeMuslim trying to deny walls coming up. Trying to keep them open for as long as possible. And here comes the flood of elite horsemen. Don't forget, it's got full upgrades on these bad boys. The trouble for MarineLord, he doesn't have counter units. He's got a couple of spearmen, but these are just veteran spearmen. That's not going to be enough. The horsemen dive in on this. They're going to take a lot of the siege out. This could be it, actually. This could be the big play here for DeMuslim, keeping this open. Landscannets coming out as well. Going to be sweeping things up at the back. And look at that army for DeMuslim, sweeping everything here, taking everything. Holy smokes, that classic or fantastic play on the right side, keeping the walls denied. DeMuslim might have a window of opportunity here. He might actually be clawing this game back from a seemingly difficult position, losing all 5 relics. He might be putting one back, might be making this 2-1. He wants to push this set as long as he can to try and have that reverse sweep if he can. A couple of spearmen now are starting to head out. Now I suspect there's going to be supervision of these barracks. But there isn't. He's got a lot of barracks anyway, MarineLord. Can be sending the troops that way. Will he be able to mass up enough? I'm not so sure. The horsemen taking in the engagement, they're actually going to run straight past. Don't forget, there are a couple of lance connector there. That could do a lot of damage to the spears. Siege heading towards the middle though. There is a clock tower bombard. Going to be looking to take down the Elsbeck Palace, but villagers on hand to repair. Comes to a siege warfare. Oh, that's actually pretty epic there for MarineLord. There are a couple of horsemen here. Great presence of mind there for DeMuslim to keep a couple of horsemen on the other side. Or at least get the waypoint that way. But there are culverins there. Siege will be going down for MarineLord, and you suspect that will probably be game over. The horsemen are going to be running riot, and the gold having access to this is fantastic. But DeMuslim buys them some more time, and this could be the killer blow that DeMuslim was looking to get. The horsemen are going to be starting to raid this farming economy. A lot of juicy farming economy. This could be a problem here for MarineLord. He won't be able to keep that out. In fact, the spearmen are going the other way. He's trying to push. Villagers here on that woodline being denied as well. And it looks like DeMuslim going to have control over the woodline as well. That's an issue. The raiding going to come out here for DeMuslim on those farms. Population here. Population cap for DeMuslim. 150 for MarineLord. And I don't think that MarineLord can hold on for much longer. He's losing everything on the front lines. Villagers here. A lot of them. Being taken down slowly. Villagers are being pulled back. So the spearmen, they don't have the mobility to catch up with the horsemen that are constantly raiding, and MarineLord not reacting. I don't think he's noticed this. He's going to look back and he's probably going to tap GG because his food economy is in tatters. Does have a bit of raiding here, but that's not going to be enough. And there is the GG. DeMuslim does react. He gets a response in game number 3, makes it 2-1 and takes it to another game. And DeMuslim's reverse sweep is actually on course, but it's still going to be match point, and DeMuslim will need to win the next game to have a chance to win this grand final. Will he be able to do it? Stick around as we move into game number 4. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 4 on Holy Island, and this is going to be a potential match point for MarineLord, but DeMuslim winning that last game, he's putting his foot down, putting a marker in the sandbox, saying, well, I'm here to party. We may be having a reverse sweep here, but we shall see if DeMuslim can make it 2 in a row, with MarineLord playing in the southeast corner of the map in red as the Holy Roman Empire, with DeMuslim in the northwest playing in blue as the French. Interesting civilization matchup. Now, the Holy Roman Empire can suffer to the French early aggression sometimes, but the Holy Roman Empire on this particular map incredibly strong. The French can have access to the Hulk and the fuselage on the water, which can be incredibly strong, but they are very expensive units. Galleys can be really good bang for buck in terms of taking fishing ships out. Both players going for early docks. MarineLord will be lagging behind on that dock production a little bit compared to DeMuslim. DeMuslim getting that dock up nice and early. We shall see if the Holy Roman Empire economy can really bolster things up. As you can see, the prelate being brought out. Whilst the dock does go up later, will DeMuslim be able to afford a fishing ship instantaneously? It is the case. You will be able to do so. And so will MarineLord. But DeMuslim is on tender hooks. He needs to win this game and the next to win this grand final. But MarineLord just needs to win this one, and if he does, he will be the champion for this September weekly. Or the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy September weekly. See the prelate making his rounds back and forth, doing a lot of exercise. Looking to inspire the food villagers now. Now with the Holy Island, if you guys are unaware, it's a fantastic map with 2 sacred sites, one on the mainland, one on the Holy Island. It's a relic and a decent amount of gold there as well, 8,000, not to be sniffed at, and wood on the edges of the map as you can see. One forward wood line as well that players tend to go for first. We often do see the relics as well. 1 relic on that Holy Island as we talked about, 2 down the centre, and usually 1 for each player in the corners of the map, and that's indeed the case here on this spawn, which is very, very symmetrical, very, very fair, it has to be said. See a lot of sheep coming in for DeMuslim. I wonder if he went for double scout. Let's just see. Often not the case. You tend not to go for double scout when you're going for a fishing boom. Indeed the case, both players going for a fish boom. Expect to see the Ark and Chapel coming in relatively soon, but essentially Barrett's coming in first. Marine will be conscious of the potential for some knights heading in his base. Of course, the thing that the French do very, very well. Only 1 villager on gold at the moment. And it's because of the fishing economy. It does take the game to get rolling here a little bit on Holy Island, because the wood is being invested in fishing ships. It does take a bit of time to pay itself back, but once it does, things can really start to escalate in speed as 4 villagers get pulled out onto the gold vein there from MarineLord. Looking to get that next age up quick time. Prelate inspiring the food villagers. Only 4 of them, but of course there is food coming in from the shorefish for this villager, and also the fishing boom here. Deep water fish with the 3 fishing ships. Almost sounds like fish and chips. I'm excited for this game because the matchup is an interesting one. We don't often see this matchup on Holy Island. I'm excited about it, that's for sure. Quite a few fishing ships here for DeMuslim. 6 of them already, compared to the 4. Spearman popping out for MarineLord, looking to have some Dark Age aggression, looking to try and take this dock down. It's already starting to torch it with a scout, so that's a bit of a concern for DeMuslim. He will need to get to the next stage quickly and try and push this back. He needs to try and keep that dock alive. Can't afford to lose this. That is for sure. Spearman being sent over. Is there going to be more spearmen coming up? That is indeed the case. So whilst MarineLord will be getting the army out, DeMuslim will want to do the same, but it does mean that the age up will be a bit delayed here for MarineLord. But if you can deny the food economy, that would be huge. It quite possibly be the case, and a nice choice for Spearman because, of course, going up the School of Cavalry, you know, any units being produced from the School of Cavalry will be denied or at least be countered, that's for sure. It looks like DeMuslim sending a sneaky village on the north to get a second dock there. Not a bad response. There's the age up there from MarineLord, getting the Ark and Chapel on the gold and the wood. That's actually really quite key because it does mean it's possibly doubling down on the waters. And that boosting with the Ark and Chapel, 40% with that prelate on food and gold is exactly what he needs. Sorry, wood and gold. That's exactly what he will need. I'm not sure if MarineLord sees that secondary dock. A few spearmen will be taking down the stock, but at least DeMuslim will be having access to hulks in the feudal age. Once he gets there from this secondary dock being built, he's going to build another one as well, but still, decent amount of investment had to be made there. The scout being sent there from MarineLord, that's actually very clutch play. A lot of players may not have the presence of mind to do that, but MarineLord does. And he notices that he's going to start focusing on the villager. If he could deny the second dock, that would be huge. I'm sure the spearmen will head that way as well. DeMuslim opting for the docks being built without any other production buildings, that's a concern. That's a big, big concern. That dock's going to go down. It's on fire. It does go down. The spearman being sent here. That's been deleted by DeMuslim. Knows it's not going to go up, and the Hulk might pop out, but I think the Hulk will pop out. It looks like that dock might survive. But look at this, the second dock going down for MarineLord, and this is looking great for MarineLord in this game because with the Ark and Chapel going up, these villagers will start to really boost that economy. 40%, wherever villager count is here, add another 40%. They'll be gathering the resources needed, wood and gold, and looks like the spearmen know that Hulk will be popping out soon, so he's just going to opt to try and harass villagers on wood and get some economy damage. That's actually a smart move by MarineLord. It's something that we should consider adapting in our games if we play this map. Having that presence of mind to know that, well, DeMuslim's going to be up and the amount of damage he can do on that dock, there's no point wasting time torching this down, because it's only if you kill it completely that's when it really matters. Because if the Hulk comes out, they'll be taking down the spearmen, so MarineLord has the presence of mind not to waste time there, not to waste valuable time. See now a lot of these villagers, holy smokes, 14 there, 24 there, add another 40% to that count. There's that early knight, or the French Royal Knight, looking to try and cause some havoc here. That villager will go down, but there's double dock here. I suspect we'll be seeing galleys popping out soon. I don't see a Hulk here, actually. Because the Muslim just can't afford it. These things are expensive. 300 wood, 240 gold. Spearmen denying the gold vein as well. So this is a great play by MarineLord. Look at that. The Muslim had to invest the wood into an archery range because of the spears, and the early aggression really paying off here. But he's just trying to repair that. Because he needs the wood he needs. He needs every bit of wood he can get. What's going to rush into a couple of spearmen? That's not the play. A couple of spearmen being sent here. Archer will take care of that. I suspect galleys will be popping out now. That is indeed the case. Are the galleys staying home for defense here? There is a Hulk actually. I take it back. There was a Hulk made. I just didn't see it. Defender's advantage though for the galleys. They need to do a lot of damage if they can. Is committing, double producing from 2 docks there. Trouble is, DeMuslim only has 1 dock to play around with. And he's still being pressured on this gold, and even if he did have 2 docks, I don't think he'd be able to produce from them. The archer's numbers not really coming out here for DeMuslim. Needs more. Kind of struggling at this point. Question is, will we see horsemen being added? A couple of spearmen being brought by MarineLord. Oh, a bit sloppy there. Loses the knight and the scout. And the fishing economy should be working pretty nicely for MarineLord, although there are 2 hulks here now. That is a bit of a concern. 4 galleys. I think MarineLord just trying to bide his time, trying to mess up and then take the fight. Looks like he's aiming to take the fight now. We'll be looking to focus fire on that weak hulk. The Muslim is spinning to win it. It's back on the gold now, but critical eco damage has been done. And I think we hear horsemen. Some sort of cavalry is popping out here. Yeah, it is horsemen for DeMuslim. What do we see on the land here for the Holy Roman Empire? That's the key issue. Yes, it will be horseman himself, looking to take care of those archers that have been built to take care of the spearmen. 1 Hulk does go down, maybe a second. Looks like a second and a third dock. Proxy docks coming out for DeMuslim. Will he be able to afford Hulks? It doesn't really seem like it. Another Hulk might be going down here. Great micro by MarineLord. As we'd expect from a player of his caliber. 4 galleys there. Will be taking down this Hulk. Takes out the villager. And that's the problem now. The Hulks won't be able to get meaningful damage as they pop out. They'll be sniped by the 4 galleys as we do see more galleys heading forward now. The Hulks are going to try and run away with it. Might take out 1 galley for free. As the spears take out the horseman there. DeMuslim not paying attention at the right time. Archers will be able to take out a couple of spears, but the horseman follow-up from MarineLord will be strong. As we can see, he is doubling down on that now. 3 stables being made. Another dock being placed here. Doesn't look like MarineLord taking the fight just yet. 6 archers in total, but 1 or 2 horsemen will take care of that. As they are going to be starting to pop out now. He's actually going to head in with 1 horseman. And another one will pop out soon as well. Those archers will be dying. The number of galleys popping out as well. 7 galleys, and it's supported by this economy here. Huge amounts of resources coming in. Let's take a look at the resources per minute. Look at that. 900 wood. I'm lagging on the gold compared to the French, but of course the French having to produce hulks. A lot more expensive. 900 wood per minute though. Pretty bonkers there for MarineLord. As the archers get cleared up by just 2 horsemen. That'll be painful. Looks like DeMuslim might be transitioning to land, getting villages on stone. Does have 2 hulk there. Looks like MarineLord committing to the feudal age with more galleys being made. He wants to clear up the waters. Looks like in some ways DeMuslim might be heading or thinking about the castle age because he's got a lot of food floating at the moment, but doesn't have the gold he would need. Oh, that's critical. Spears. That one spear actually stunned that knight. Now here comes the galley push. And that's not really a fight that DeMuslim can really take. Might be able to take one of the galleys, but with good micro, we'll be saving that. Has the defender's advantage, escapes with that galley. We'll be taking down one of the hulks, and that's a problem. We'll be now taking down another. Micro on point here for MarineLord. We might lose one galley though. Second hulk will be going down. Bit of an aggression here. Knights head back, the archers head back. Problem is, there's the waters, and looks like DeMuslim will be losing the waters now. Only has one hulk here. That is a concern. I think DeMuslim is struggling here. Does have one dock there, but those fishing ships will be going down next if those galleys start to go that way. The galleys actually head back. The army building up here. MarineLord committing to the feudal age. It looks like DeMuslim is being rather greedy. Run up for the castle age. Look at the food he's got. I'm not sure this is the play for DeMuslim. Opting for a second town centre as well, perhaps. MarineLord will win the waters. Potentially the land as well, because he's going for heavy feudal age. There is a window of opportunity here for MarineLord to win this game. Galleys head forward. Another hull being invested. And that's a goner, really. With this number of galleys there, that was a bit of a waste of resources there for DeMuslim. And there it is. He taps out. I think DeMuslim realizes he's far behind, and he taps out in this grand final. MarineLord wins this last game. A bit of an anticlimax there. Didn't really last that long. 13 minutes on the clock, roughly. And MarineLord is your champion for this September weekly. He wins, and he wins quite well, with some of the games really being very strong for his performance. And hope you guys enjoyed this casted game and this set, and if you enjoyed the semi-finals as well, I hope you did. And I really enjoyed casting this set, and I'm really happy with the support I've received on the channel. So thank you so much to everyone giving the support on the channel. I really appreciate you guys, and I will be continuing to cast Age of Empires 4 content. I'm looking to cover the games from the main event, Red Bull Wololo Legacy, as well. Mostly for fun, because I'm sure a lot of you guys will be watching the actual main broadcast. Do drop me on the comment section below if you're actually looking to see me cast the main event as well. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Take care. See you next time.